Now I know that this is a very late review, I decided to take my time with it, but if you frequent my channel then you most likely know that I really love horror films. And as a horror fan, what I dislike the most is when people who treat horror as some sort of lower end genre respond to these so-called post-horror films like It Follows, The Witch, It Comes at Night, Babadook, etc, etc. Now, the films themselves are amazing, yes, don't get me wrong, but please don't be all smug about it and say that this is what some quote-unquote real horror is. However, in the case of Hereditary, I actually find myself echoing that statement because this is one of the most emotionally traumatizing and disturbing experiences I've ever had. There's been a whole lot of press coverage after the festival screenings of this film. Many have been calling it a new fresh take on the horror genre, but now that it's finally here and I've already seen it 3 agonizingly painful times, I don't think that anything can truly prepare you for it. The film is directed by Ari Aster, it is his feature debut, but this actually isn't the first time I'm seeing Ari's name pop up because I'm quite a fan of his short films. Now though, he decided to go in a bit of a different direction while still keeping his crossing the boundaries of normality style. The movie focuses on the Graham family, a very interesting group of people with their own skeletons in the closet. All of them live in this large, spacious house, but as soon as their grandmother passes away, strange things start to happen with each member of the family. For your own sake, I'm not going to continue talking about the plot because the writing here is nothing short of fantastic, and I want you to experience it yourself. What I want to focus your attention on is how rigorously and thoroughly this movie is crafted, especially after seeing and hearing some things that I noticed only during my second and third viewings. Hereditary transcends horror as we know it, and I'm sure that sounds like a very bold and pretentious statement, but I honestly think so. It goes so far and reaches such unspeakable depths of human psychology that make you truly feel the horrific events of the film. There are no jump scares here because it's the real terrifying truth of Hereditary that really speaks with the audience. It pushes you out of the comfort zone and leaves you alone in that void of anguish and misery while continuing to overwhelm you with its oppressive atmosphere. And that's where the film really shines, both as a spine-chilling horror movie and an effective drama. What could have been considered shocking, unnecessary, or provocative is done very delicately thanks to Aster's scrupulous approach to his material. There's a scene in the film during which even the most abrasive and cold-hearted person will have a lump in their throat. And I think it speaks volumes about the director's talent and the ability to really connect with the viewer on the deepest emotional level. It's honestly just visceral filmmaking. Another reason why I think this film works so exceptionally well is its well-rounded cast. I actually think it's fair to say that Toni Collette gives the performance of her career here. She has a very physical role which requires her character, a devastated mother, to see everything through the prism of grief, sorrow, resentment, and I think Toni Collette translated that to the silver screen incredibly well. Much to my surprise, Wolff as well was great here. It's an interesting portrayal of a messed up teen, and again, just as Toni Collette, he has a fair share of scenes where he has to fully commit to the character without a single line of dialogue, while the camera is focused only on him, and in those particular moments, he's unusually great. Very interesting find indeed. Oh, and speaking about the camera, the cinematography and shot composition in this movie are just amazing. Paweł Pogorzelski, the man who worked with Aster on his previous shorts and was also the DP on last year's Tragedy Girls, my regards to you because this is one of the most immersive horror experiences I've ever seen. There are a couple of moments in the film during which there's something obscure happening in the background, and as soon as you notice it, ooh, prepare for the worst. At one point, I literally sunk into my seat as soon as I realized that the framing of the shot wasn't just purely to make the room seem bigger, but instead to show that there are actually 2 people in that one small location. Truly stuff that nightmares are made of. The only small nitpicky problem I have with the film lies in its ending, but I obviously can't talk about it right now due to it being a spoiler. Don't worry though, this isn't one of those situations like 10 Cloverfield Lane when you either love or hate the finale. Here it's just good, but definitely not great. I wish the film ended just a minute or 2 earlier for it to be a bit more ambiguous and vague, but that's just me. Repulsive, haunting, and extremely disturbing, Hereditary is a rare example of a horror film which relies on its truly horrific plot and explores the deepest, darkest fears of human imagination. No, there are no creepy dolls or annoying nuns jumping out of a closet here. Instead, what you get is a melancholic drama with a predominant theme of bereavement and agonizing despair. You feel for the characters, you're invested in the story, and that is where the horror factor comes from, not some cheap and lazy jump scares. I know that quite a few people will come out of this and say, that wasn't scary, and I will totally understand that, but for me, Hereditary is one of the most unnerving films I've seen in a long, long while. I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It is fantastic. Definitely see Hereditary for yourself and let me know what you think of it. In the next couple of days, I'm gonna do a review of Sicario Day of the Soldado, so stay tuned for that. Until then, have a wonderful day and I'll see you next time.